are we teaching our children, that, and the pressure on youth today to perform and to be the best, and therefore depression and suicidal tendencies come in. And what about parents who are conditioned to push because they have been pushed?
The fact that a person like this rabbi is mentioning and he's able to see the society living in this terrible illusion, the cycle of suffering, the anxiety, the depression, everything what we are going through in our society, the fact that he can see it, it shows you that we are in the age of Aquarius. Let's go back to astrology. Because what is the age of Aquarius? At the age of Aquarius, there will be a lot of fake prophets, and there will be a lot of people who will suddenly realize things that they never realized before. The society is starting, this is all bad, what you said, the way we teach our children, that we make them believe that if you are a doctor, you will become great. You understand? But you must understand that all this is part of the collective awakening. Because we are now in an age where people are awakening. And awakening can happen, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning of our session. Awakening can happen out of a bad event, like I said, an accident, a heartbreak. Awakening suddenly can happen because the soul realizes that there is nothing to hold in this life, that everything is temporarily. That your body is temporarily, your profession is temporarily, your fame and success is temporarily, sometimes your relationship is temporarily, that your physical ability is temporarily, your money, you can be one day rich and the other day poor. Everything is temporarily. Understanding the concept of everything is temporarily is the mainstream in this period where in this age of Aquarius, where people starting to acknowledge their mistakes and they starting to ask themselves questions. So you can understand from that we are living in a time of people starting to get to know that they don't know, so they want to know more. They are no more living in I don't know that I don't know. They are not robots anymore. Right. They are moving from a census-related period to an awakening period. And this is the period where we are living now. It's an awakening. That is the reason we are doing this interview, because you are asking yourself questions. What's the point of my money? What's the point of telling my children to become like me? I see it every day, especially in your society. They're calling me for a reading and they're telling me I'm a doctor. I want my daughter to become a doctor. You understand? We are so trapped in our senses. We are in a rat race, in a mouse race, that we believe that if we will become something, we will achieve something. Right. We don't understand that we didn't come here to achieve something. The soul have to go through the journey and to actually go in the indirect, in the opposite way, to detach and to learn to accept things as it is and to just love unconditionally other people. Then we will be able to transform this level of incarnation into a level who is the upper level that we have to go through after we die.
Right.
And that's the purpose of this journey.
Astrology you spoke about, I know that is one of your fortes, because you've been doing astrology, like you said, from the start. So how do you connect? How do you explain the effects of planets on people, their effect on our life and our deaths and our miseries and our happiness?
I spoke about it years back.
Okay.
I will ask you to think about something that I'm going to tell you now, and this will help you to understand it.
Okay.
You see, there is the macro, and there is the micro, and there is the macro. Okay? Try to imagine the micro, our life, the human, the everyday life, and there is the macro, okay? The universe, everything around us. Now imagine that I will ask you Imagine that I will ask you to go into a room where there is 100 people sitting, and you are going to sit close to few and a little bit far from others, okay? Which people will affect you more? You as a micro, you sitting in a chair, you have these people who sit near you, and there is the people who sit far from you, and the people who sit more far from you. And I'm talking about levels of energy. Which people will affect you more? You are sitting, you will probably start to communicate more with the people who are sitting near you.
Correct.
Because the energy is floating more fast, and you are able to connect your senses to their senses in order to create communication. Okay, and you will be more affected by the energy. So imagine you will be sitting near a lady who is very uncomfortable with you. Let's say she don't like you because you are like that and like that, because of your skin color, because of your origin. You're going to feel it. So why I'm saying that, to give you an understanding how everything in this dimension, I repeat, this dimension is vibrating. The light travel in a straight way, but the light, the cosmic light, travel in vibrations. Vibrations, it's like music, okay? If I put low music, you will hear it and enjoy. If I put it too strong, the vibrations are too strong, it will harm your ears, you understand? The same is with connections with people. The people who will affect you most will be those who are near you sitting. The people who will affect you little less, those who are behind them, that you not always can see them. Those who will affect you less are those who are more far from you, you understand? And now you go back into our small world, okay? You are a baby, you open your eyes, and the first thing that you see is your parents, right? You can be a baby that was born in Kenya, in the jungle, in the Zulu tribe, and you can be a baby that was born in Greenland. You will open your eyes, immediately you will start going through an experience. The experience of understanding and getting impressions from your surrounding. So if you are born to Greenland, you will start to hear your parents talking the language. You will become an Eskimo, okay? You will run after polar bears and you will hunt in the sea. And if you are born in the tribe, you will become a Zulu hunter. You will hunt lions, okay? Which show you that we are all affected by the impression that are coming from outside towards us. Now I will leave the micro, because this is the micro, the society where, listen to me, look, our parents, the society where we live, our city, our country, okay, our country, our language, okay, our connection to the other communities, our connection to the other world. We are starting to get stigma, impressions, we're starting to have opinion, the personality is starting to develop as I am. And the worst enemy of human beings is the ego and the I am. The I am is being created in a way that you can become a racist, you can become an enlightened person, you can become a great hunter, you can become an actor. This is the way the micro is being developed. Now I am going out of our planet and I will look into other planets who have a huge size. Let's say Jupiter, a big planet, okay? And Jupiter, also everything in the matter world and everything is also light. You remember what I said? Everything is light. If you want to prove that everything is light, I will go back to Jupiter. But to prove that everything is light, you just do something very simple. You take a magnifying glass and imagine that this magnifying glass is able to walk. You can walk 1 kilometer back and you can see whatever is behind clearly. What are you going to see? You are going to see that your body is made of small proton and electrons. And if you do the same thing in a mountain, you are going to see the same proton and electron just organized in atoms in a different way. And everything is vibrating. So when you ask me a question like that, it means that you're asking me a question because your eyes see something that cannot be proved. How can you prove that the planet Jupiter makes people more energetic in a certain year or more lucky? How can you prove it? You can't prove it. You can't. It's some people, ignorant people, they will read ignored not by a bad word, ignored because they don't know that they don't know. They will open the book and they say, look at this, he wrote a horoscope. They don't understand. What does it mean? In the macro, there are 9 planets that are affecting our being. The planets are also light. We are also light, and everything is vibrating. It's like chemistry. Okay? So this is the same things with the planet. Every planet is light, and every planet vibrates towards us in a different way. So Jupiter will affect certain people in a certain way, and Jupiter will affect certain people in a different way, because every person is light himself. The amount of light that he contains, the amount of attachment to his senses that he is experiencing, to the place where he lives, to the distance to the planet, to the daylight, to the amount of cloud in the sky that are censoring some of the radiation. This is what you need to know, whether we are living in this dimension in electric world. It's all electric.
Right.
And I will go back to the point where you were sitting in the chair and you were affected from the people who are very close to you. You will be affected from them because their thoughts. You can see what Osho said. He said something brilliant. He said, thoughts are objects. Thoughts are objects because the power of thought is so strong that it can radiate and vibrate out of the body. That's why whatever you think will probably come true. If you start to think about something dirty, you will start to have dirty thoughts. If you will think about love all the time, you will become love. And so you are going to be in the micro affected by the people who are close to you and are near you. And this is something, and here I will go back to you and I will explain you why when I studied astrology so many years back, I went in another way. I didn't went like all these astrologers. I learned to interpret it. That's the reason when I read people, they sometimes ask me, how did you know that? How did you know that? And some astrologers, they're calling me every month and they're telling me, Ofer, please share with me, how did you know? This is, there is a, how to say, a way in this world to understand how the planet will affect every individual according to certain things that the individual himself holding, the way he is connected to the world, the level of consciousness that he's connected to the world. And I read it with the planet when I see a chart. They're asking me why you don't take the date of birth of a person 3 days before, do the chart, and then talk to him. I tell them I don't need it because I developed a way that when I see the planet, I immediately know how every planet will affect the soul in order to fulfill something in this incarnation. So if I know how Mars will be affected in a certain period, I will know how the person will act because Mars is affecting our actions. You understand? I will know how it will affect our money, Venus, okay, how it will affect our luck, Jupiter, how it will affect our life and death, Pluto. You understand? So here is the answer to your question, that everything, you always have to remember, there is the micro and there is the macro. Even the micro and the macro are one.
Okay.
We are all one. Don't ever let yourself get into distinctions, because once the mind go into distinctions, it's a terrible thing. Don't ever judge and don't ever make distinction. This is good, this is bad, this is like that, this is like that. Because when you do that, you're putting something into the frame and you are losing the macro. You are losing your infinity. Right. Because everything is light. And if everything is light and everything is vibrating, It means that we are all one and we are all here for one purpose. But every person have a different journey.
True. Yeah. So the planets we were speaking about, and you told us about how but there's something called destiny. When we come, they say there is a blueprint that is made up there somewhere, and you come here with everything predestined. So if everything is predestined, how is planet Mars, the planet Mars, say, affecting me, or Mercury affecting me?